Hello guys and welcome to Biscuits Rome Total War. Today we have yet another 3 versus 3 31k rules. Surprise surprise. This time this battle has been submitted by Ferrum of the COH clan. This guy's a bit of a legend, I've got to say. I've been playing online against him for some time now, but Ferrum, he's got a great taste in music, I've got to say that. Like myself, he is into a similar type of music genre. I like all types of music, but specifically, when I was younger, I used to really dig punk and hardcore music. I even put on a few gigs for a few touring bands in Europe and America and the States. Primarily it's punk rock, it's hardcore. He's into that kind of stuff. We sometimes talk about power violence bands and bits and pieces like that. In all honesty, he's probably the first person I've ever come across in the Rome Total War community that has that kind of background and knowledge of music. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a shout out, and hopefully there's many more videos to come from Ferrum in the future. So let's have a look what we've got here today. So we have, as I said, 3 versus 3. We have got Ferrum as the Julii faction. He is bringing 14 urbans, 6 cav, so nothing too new there. If we go and have a look at his ally, this guy, Dick Turtle, try and say that with a straight face, he has brought Egypt. Now, I believe this is the first time I've actually showed Egypt in a 31k match. It is pretty rare that you see them. They have some great chariots, great archer chariots, great archers, but to be honest, their infantry is pretty lacking, and therefore when you play Egypt, usually you tend to play them as a skirmish faction. So be interesting to see how they survive this battle. Their main infantry base is the Pharaoh's Guard, which are good, but nothing compared to, say, the urban cohort or the Spartans or Royal Pikemen. They're not the best by any stretch of imagination. But Dick Turtle, what has he brought? He has brought 5 standard chariots, it looks like. No, he's brought 4 standard chariots and 1 chariot archer. Usually, I'd say most people, when they bring Egypt, they probably maximise on their chariot allowance. Either get 6 chariots or 4 standard chariots and 2 chariot archers, but Dick Turtle has just gone for the 1 chariot archer and then 4 standard chariots, which are devastating against cavalry. Also, they scare the opposition, and unlike the scythed chariots of Pontus and the Seleucids, these guys don't run amok, so they're really good. So let's have a look. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pharaoh's archers. Now these are probably some of the best archers in the game. They've got really long range, great for shooting down the opposition, plus they've got very thick armour, as you can see. And then for the main infantry body, he has got 9 Pharaoh's Guards, which includes his general. If we move over here, we've got our friend GREEK-DIOMIDIS in the IBEROS clan. He has brought a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Cretan archers, 1 slinger, and I'll explain why in a second why he's brought that slinger, and 13 Spartans. So the Spartans are really going to be the bread and butter of his army. He's got some great archers there, as well as the Balearic slinger. Now, if we call this team Team 1, they've got really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus all of these Pharaoh's archers. They're really gone heavy on the archer build, and that is because they're going to be playing against pike factions. And as I said before in previous videos, when you're playing pike factions, you want to try and stall them and shoot them in the back with your archers, so hence all the archers. But the reason why we've got 1 slinger here is that the opposition, they are bringing Pontus. Now Pontus in 31k usually tends to be the same build. Most people will bring 14 bronze shields, 4 scythed chariots and 2 chariot archers. So when you go against Pontus in 31k, it's pretty safe that you're going to get this build. This is what you want to really bring. Maybe you might bring one more Scythe Chariot, one less Chariot Archer, but it's pretty much going to be this build, give or take a unit or two. So the reason why Greece has brought a Slinger is because when you've got Slingers, they're really good against Chariot Archers, and I'll show you in a second how that all pans out. But effectively, that's one good thing about Slingers. They should be able to knock down these Chariots pretty quickly, hopefully. So our friend Cleo from the Greek clan, he's brought along the Pontus action, and as I said, the Greek players, the Greek in their Greek clan, you know, they are experts at pikes, so it's always good to watch them play. Hopefully you might learn a couple of things. And then the next guy needs no introduction. Again, another Greek player, Leg-TuTmosislll of the Greeks. He has brought 10 Royal Pike, and again he's gone really heavy on the Cretan archers. He's brought 7 Cretan archers. He's pretty much brought the whole contingent, all the archers for Team 2 basically. You know, he's ticked that box for archers, and these guys, apart from their silly hat, they are pretty up there. They're one of the best archers you can get in the game. And then to support these archers, he's brought 3 companion cav, really fast. They got a great bonus when it comes to charging. It's interesting to see how he puts that into effect in this game. And last but not least, we've got who's this? Hades of the Titans clan, and again, to follow suit with his Greek allies here, he's put another pike faction. So he's got 6 cataphracts, which most Seleucid players would bring. You've then got 1, 2, 3 silver legendary, silver shield legendaries, which are basically a cheaper version of the Roman legions. They're really great. You can put them into Studo, and they can act as a peeler shield against the silver shield pikeman, which looks like he's brought 8, I believe, and then he's brought 2 levy pikemen as a screen, and I think hidden in there is also a regular archer unit. So this is set to be a great game. Some really good 31k players. So let's see what happens. So stage 1 of the battle, everyone's going to be merging together, trying to get into position. I'll just forward it a tiny bit here just to speed it up. So both sides moving forwards. Ferrum of the COH clan, he's moving his guys in to protect the flanks of GREEK-DIOMIDIS, and also Toot is bringing in his Spartans again to protect the flanks of the Egyptian player. So Cleo's brought in the first move. He's throwing in his chariot archers. He's going to put them into Cantabrian circle, so they spin around. And expertly, he's got these slingers here, the Greek player. Now, the good thing about slingers, they will fire out horizontally. So effectively, everything in here becomes the killing zone for these slingers. Unlike an archer, they shoot in an arched direction. So it doesn't matter if you've got units here. They can almost dodge, or the arrows will go over the unit. But with a slinger, effectively, as the stone gets thrown horizontally, if you're in there, you're going to get hit by it. And that's what makes it so efficient at hitting these chariot archers, because they go into constabulary circle, and it's really hard for an archer to hit it, but it's a piece of cake for a slinger to hit it. So Dick Turtle, he's spread out his archers. He's going to try and be shooting down these Cretan archers to try and win the archer duel. Hades has thrown forward a couple of levy pikemen to act as a screen to help protect these Cretan archers. And also he's brought in his cataphracts. Effectively, if they get shot at face on, it's not going to do too much damage because it's so much armour. Now, as you can see, Dick Turtle switched now to fire mode. That's because Cleo's brought in his scythed chariots, but brought them in range of the archers. So Dictator switched to fire mode to effectively panic these guys and make them run amok. Once they run amok, they will kill friend or foe, and effectively they become more of a hindrance rather than a help. So it looks like Suit's moving his guys backwards. They're falling into position. He's got his chariot archers going in a constabulary circle. They're warmed up. They're probably going to be taking shots at these companion cav. Now, one thing that I have learnt is that chariot archers are great at killing cav as long as they're not tired. If they're in constabulary circle, they get winded, they get tired, and they lose their efficiency, and they become susceptible for charges. So, if these guys go into constabulary circle, more than likely, yep, here we go. Diamond's gonna throw in a charge. These guys have got a great charge bonus or instantly rout these chariot archers. As you can see, they're winded, they're broken. Yes, there's been a few dead companion cav sacrificed for these archers, but that takes his chariot archers well and truly out of the game, and therefore he can then start to harass and try and swing these companion cav around the side. So let's check out what's going on over here. So the archer war is still in full flow. Either side, they're taking on casualties. Looks like Dictator's gone to fire flaming modes, trying to cause a bit of panic. Maybe he can try and rout a few of these archers, or he maybe even try and shoot down a few of these cataphracts. But these cataphracts, they are pretty much the equivalent to tanks in the ancient world. So it's going to take a lot of archer fire to really shoot through the armor. So it looks like Team 2, the piked guys, they're now going into an aggressive attack. They're throwing forwards their levy pikemen. This is to act as a soaking up the peeler. So hopefully Ferrum won't fall for that trick. He's retreating his guys to fall back in with the rest of his teammates. I'm imagining now the archers now probably taking back shots at these guys, trying to make the most of the Roman team turning their backs to the archers. Looks like they've survived that though. So here we go. Here comes the mass hordes of the bronze pikemen and the levy pikemen of Titans and the Greek clan. So they're going to charge forward. Toot's going to help out his member here by throwing in a couple of Spartans to help protect. Now you can see all the peeler being chucked into these pikemen, doing a lot of damage. But Hades has thrown forward his levy pikemen. These guys are probably the cheapest pikes that you can get, so it doesn't matter if they take the damage from the peeler. They want to be soaking up the fire from these urban cohorts. So here we go. It looks like Pontus is going to take on the Julii faction, and it looks like Hades is going to more than likely take on Dictator's Pharaoh's guards. It looks like Dictator's throwing forward his chariots, probably trying to catch these cataphracts off guard. Again, a little tip for defending against chariots. If you've got heavy cav and you're about swarmed by chariots, what you want to do is keep them still, make sure they're in a tight formation, and probably put guard mode on. If you start trying to attack the chariots and your cav get out of formation, these chariots will be able to run in between the gaps of your horses, of your cav, and basically chew them up. But if these guys are in tight formation, standing still with guard mode on, it minimises the damage of the chariots, and hopefully you might even win the battle against the chariots. So let's carry on. So here we go. Dictator sent in his guys. Now Hades is trying to retreat. If we can look here, we've got Ferrum's Julii. He's got all his guys in wedge formation. They're going to try and charge into the back of one of these cataphracts. Hopefully try and catch them out of guard. Now it looks like Hades is now in formation, ready for the charge of the chariots. So Julii's brought back his cav, which is quite sensible. And in the meantime, he's taking some flank shots by the archers here. So let's have a look here. So the silver pikemen. Now, silver pikemen on paper should absolutely cream Pharaoh's guard. So I imagine what Hades is going to do is probably take his guys out of guard mode and therefore attack quite aggressively against these pikes, and hopefully should be able to chew these up quite quickly without any difficulty. We go COH is sending his cav here. He's caught the cataphracts off guard there. Because of that charge, he's managed to rout one of the units. There's only 2 cataphracts there against the overwhelming Praetorian cav. That's going to cause another rout. Hades is now quickly sending in his 3 remaining cataphracts, and he's also peeled off 2 pikemen just to try and get us around. And Cleo is also sending his chariots to hopefully cause a mass rout. That's going to cause real panic in the Praetorian cav here. Now that these Scythe chariots are in range, Dictator sent in his guys, his archers, into fire mode, which is going to cause these guys to run amok. Now that these chariots are running amok, they're going to be slaughtering both friend and foe, as you can see. Now they really are tearing through these cataphracts. Hades has done the right thing there. He's just kept this guy still, hope to minimise the damage of these Scythe chariots. And as you can see, they're running amok, really going to be chewing up these Cretan archers and anybody who gets in their way. So 1, 2, 3 of the 4 Scythe chariots who run amok. Praetorian cav, they've routed. There's quite a few numbers left in them, so hopefully they'll come back. But it looks like this side have well and truly won that cav engagement. And I imagine they're probably going to win this wing here, because these silver pikemen should be, as you can see, they're off guard mode. They're just going to be going forward aggressively, really chewing up these Pharaoh's guards. COH has sent back a couple of urban cohorts to try and protect and help out his teammate, which is great to see. As you can see, Julii cav has now come back. Now the cataphracts here are probably going to try and loop around the back and maybe get in a couple of cheeky hammer and anvil strikes. Now here we go, we've got Dictator now sending in his remaining chariots, as well as Julii sending in his Praetorian cav. Combination between the two should cause a rout, as you can see, which hopefully should take the cataphracts well and truly out of the game. Now with these chariots which are running behind the back lines of the enemy here, that's going to cause panic. As you can see, if I hover my cursor over these pike units, you can see that these units are all frightened by chariots. Now frightened by chariots will mean that these guys are going to lose their efficiency when it comes to a one-to-one fight. Therefore that's going to give these urban cohorts an upper hand. The only downside is that these urban cohorts really are isolated from the main bulk of the army. So if they had extra units here, these units might of the legendary silver legionary would rout, hopefully. So let's see what happens. Now you might be asking yourself, what would you do if you were in the Egyptian player's shoes? I know if I was in his shoes, I'd get my chariots to try and mop up these remaining archers, and probably just park the chariots behind the pikes to help lower their morale, and therefore give your teammates the upper hand in the fight. Let's see what happens. So it looks like Dictator's going to be chasing down a few of these Cretan archers. There's only a few left in the game. And he's chasing them down, which is an excellent move. In the meantime, as you can see here, the silver pikemen, they've chewed up these Pharaoh's guards. There's nothing much Pharaoh's guards can do. Hades has put his guys into Testudo. Now, sorry to pause the game here, but I just thought I'd highlight this. These guys are in Testudo. Now, they're going to be an extremely defensive unit, so it's going to be hard for the urban cohorts to break these guys. So effectively, these two legendary Silver Shield legendaries are going to be anchoring and preventing these urbans moving forward. Another thing to bear in mind, these units are in Testudo and they're being attacked, so therefore Hades has probably got his guys in guard mode as well as Testudo. That means that the Testudo won't break if it gets attacked. Also, if you notice that these guys are still fresh, when your units are in Testudo, you'll tend to find that your guys will tire lesser. If you compare it to the urban cohorts who are fighting them, these guys are winded. That's because they're aggressively trying to cut down these guys in the Testudo. They're using up a lot of energy, and effectively it's going to be really hard for them to break through that Testudo shell. So Dictator sends in his chariots, probably trying to cause these Silver Shields guys to rout. But unfortunately they get caught up on the pikes of the opposition and therefore rout. So it might have been better just to basically park them behind rather than doing a hammer and anvil. Over here we've got the engagement of the Spartans versus the Royal Pikes. Again, Royal Pikes have got really long shields, really long pikes, and it looks like the Greek player is trying to use this to advantage. He's taken off guard mode and is using 3 or 4 of the pikemen to really swarm into these Spartans, and at the same time he's going in for a few hammer and anvil charges onto the back of the opposition with his companion Cav. So now the Greeks and Hades doing excellently at the moment. They really are chewing up the opposition. Looks like Dictator really has been pretty much knocked out of the game. He's got 1 chariot running around at the back there, getting a few kills, and he's got a few archers who are remaining. But it really is a 2 versus 3 at the moment. And also, as you can see, Diomides is really using the numbers to his advantage. He's trying to flank around the sides of these Spartans, as well as Hades. He's gotten a few of his units around. Once you start flanking the opposition, again, like them being scared of the chariots, there also starts to have a little effect on concerned about exposed flank, and therefore that again is going to affect their ability and their efficiency in a 1-to-1 fight. And a 31K, you want to make sure you're doing all these little tricks. You want to make sure that you're trying to lower the morale, you're trying to lessen the efficiency of your opposition's units. So you can see they're doing it excellently at the moment. Dictator's final chariot is now broken. They may come back later on. Julii is frantically trying to send his urbans left, right and centre, really trying to make sure that these flanks don't break. He's holding the centre just about, as you can see here. He's thrown in a couple of his urbans to try and help fight these Seleucid pikemen. Now, as you can see, these Seleucid pikemen, they've been taken out of guard mode, so they've been fighting aggressively. By them fighting aggressively, it has caused them to get really tired, and as they get tired they become more susceptible to breaking and they lose their efficiency, as I've said before. So whilst they're getting a few flaming shots from the archers as well as these urbans which are aggressively attacking them at any stage, that's going to cause them to rout. So really COH Ferrum is fighting like there's no tomorrow. He's fighting on the left wing and on the right wing. He really is trying to fight tooth and nail to stay in this game. So looks like the Seleucid player's been knocked out. So it's now down to a 2 versus 2. Dictator's chariot has come back. So he's going to swing these around the back and try and scare these Macedonian pikes. And in the moment you'll probably see that these guys are scared of the chariots. As they're now, yep, you see, they're now scared of the chariots. This is going to cause them to potentially rout if they get surrounded. And this is Ferrum, he's sending in his urbans. These guys are being all over the battlefield now. I can't imagine what the kill count is going to be for this Ferrum, but he really is fighting really well at the moment. So the battle is starting to swing now to COH and IBEROS and Dictator. They've somehow managed to hang in there, and they're now surrounding the last remaining units of Diomids, which is which really is a feat in its own, because I keep on harping on, I keep on saying that the Greek players, they really are great at pikes. So they played excellently at the moment. So I'm just going to forward on a few moments. As you can see, they're surrounding the Macedonian pikes. There's very little now that Diomids can do. He's really just hanging in there. He's put his guys into a box formation to really help hold the lines against these overwhelming numbers. So it really is just a matter of time before these units start to break underneath the there we go. As you can see, one's routed. I'm guessing a second one will probably rout in a few moments. Pontus somehow still got a few units left. These guys are all boxed up. Second one's routed. There's a constant barrage of Cretan archers into the back, and there we go. That's eventually caused the mass rout and a mass panic for the Macedonians. So that was, an excellent game. Really played really well over those players there. And once again, thank you for Ferrum for submitting this battle. Really was an epic fight. So as you can see here, it's a close victory. It could have gone either way. COH Ferrum has got a whopping 2,484 kills, which really is amazing. You're lucky if you get 1,500 kills or 1,600 kills in a 31K game. So yeah, excellently played to him. Nearly 2,500 kills, which really is, unbelievable. Toot of the IBEROS clan, he's got 1,606 kills, which is great. Dictator, unfortunately, only got 918 kills. He probably got a lot of casualties with his Pharaoh's guards. They probably all got chewed up by Titans Hades. And then if we look at the other team, Titans Hades, 1,081 kills, which is really good. GREEK-DIOMIDIS, 1,606 kills, which really is an outstanding amount of kills. And Kilo, 954 kills. So if I look at the stats and just see how many kills, if you look at the urban cohorts, considering there's only about 80 guys in the unit, some of them have clocked up kills of over 200. In fact, most of them are killed at least 200. So that really is quite some feat.